have the pleasure of introducing our moderator for this session, Professor Dr. Roslina Ahmad Saufi, Chartered Management Institute, CMI, Regional Board Member Malaysia, and a professor at University Malaysia Kelantan.
I'll just sit down here, I think it's more relaxed, and I hope all the panels also relax. Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good evening. Salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Roslina. I'm honored to be here as a moderator for these sessions with the learned and distinguished panels. I would say we have 3 physically here and 1 more is online yang berbahagia Datuk, whether we can see him or not. There you are, Datuk. I hope it's not too late to congratulate you for the conferment of Datukship yesterday. Congratulations, Datuk Kamarul. Okay. We're looking at the since 2 o'clock. We have been shared with lots of blueprints, the progress of innovations, and also SMEs progress in the country. Yeah, and those keynote speakers has addressed very pivotal and significant data, which will pose lots of discussions and also issues to be pondered about. Yeah, before I begin, let me introduce all the learned panels with me. We have at the end there, Mr. K.V. Anpanathan. In short, we call him Anba, Mr. Anba. Am I right?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Anba is a person with more than 25 years of experience in business. He's one of the co-founder in P&A Smart Solutions. Okay, he is pioneering more established companies. He's coached, he's mentored lots of innovative and startup companies, and he himself is passionate about progressing the SMEs in the country, not just in Malaysia, but his experience has been shared worldwide, actually. Yeah. If I were to read his profile, it's very lengthy, and I'm sure please take the opportunity to be engaged with him later this evening. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So welcome, Mr. K.V. Anpan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you very much. Okay. Our next speaker, our next panel, Datuk Kamarul Muhammad. So Datuk Kamarul has told me he will explain who he himself. But anyway, I'm going to do my role just to briefly explain who is Datuk Kamarul actually. So everyone knows about Aerodyne Group, one of the very successful startup company in Malaysia. So Datuk Kamarul is the founder and the group CEO of Aerodyne, a Malaysian-based drone solutions provider which ranked #1 globally by Drone Industry Insights. So with a team of over 1,000 professionals across 45 countries, Aerodyne specializes in a range of enterprise drone solutions, including automation in agriculture, autonomous swarm technology for security and surveillance, and delivering critical asset management insights and enabling. So knowing Datuk Kamarul, he's one of a very passionate in grooming talents towards tech-savvy competency. So please welcome Datuk Kamarul Muhammad. Right. Our third panel, Mr. Yu Lip Singh. So Mr. Yu is the CEO of SRKK Group. Initially, I was taught sekolah rendah kebangsaan, but it's not, yeah? So please, okay? SRKK Group is a consulting firm that accelerates organizational change through digital transformation, focusing on security, productivity, and the modern workplace. So his extensive experience in multinational corporations, he has founded the SRKK in 1997 to help most of the small and medium-sized businesses to leverage information technology. Please welcome Mr. Yu Lip Singh. Right. Our fourth panelist, I want to call the last panels, okay? Just the fourth panelist would be fine, okay? Here's a lady next to me, Ms. Noor Amy Ismail, right? He served as a board of director and advisory panel member at Wahid Ventures. She's also an advisor for transformation at Menteri Besar Incorporated Selangor. Yep. Okay. So you know Selangor is the largest SMEs in Malaysia currently. Okay. With close to 24 years of corporate, SME and startup experience across diverse industries in Malaysia and internationally, she has held leadership roles at firms such as Malaysia Venture Capital Management Berhad, the MAVCAP, Deloitte, Media Prima, and also at the Prime Minister Office. So she has lots to share with us what's going on the transformations of digitalization and SMEs in Malaysia. So please welcome Ms. Amy Ismail. Okay, I'm just going to give a scenario about what's happened currently to Malaysia. If you look at the global index, the global index currently, okay, where do we rank Malaysia? Yeah, okay. So the Global Innovation Index 2022, Malaysia actually performs better on innovation inputs than the innovation outputs. On the innovation inputs, we are ranked 35th, and on the innovation outputs, we are actually ranked 37. And this position is actually less or lower than in 2021 and 2022. On the other hand, okay, if you look at the number of SMEs today, just being shared by the CEO just now, is more than 1.15 million. And out of these 1.15 million, more or less about 70% are actually the micro and the small enterprises. If I were to share with you the cooperative industry, there were about like 16,000 cooperative registered cooperative, and of 16,000 cooperatives, 87% were micro and small industry. So this group of cooperative also can be considered as a micro and small enterprises in Malaysia. Okay. On a little bit more data, okay, so that we can bring the light of the discussions of today. Okay. We talk about back to the theme of today, diversity or inclusion drives innovations, or Mr. Cabbage said just now correctly, innovation drives inclusions, or inclusions drives innovations. Most of the literature say the other way around, that inclusion drives innovation. So we can debate for long actually about this, okay? But the fundamental issue is that how do we bring together the DEI agenda, the diversity, the equity, and the innovations together, the inclusion together, in order to push the SMEs in Malaysia to the next levels of the international, or what I call the international ocean. And I believe the speakers today is going to share with us, we talk about unlocking potentials, okay? What are the challenges and what are the barriers? So I'm going to invite Mr. KV first. You have about 5 to 10 minutes to share your thoughts. And I was informed that you're going to share something about the SME moving towards digital transformation. Over you, Mr. Anwar.
Thank you, Prof. First and foremost, I'd like to thank MIM for this invitation to represent through SME Malaysia Association. I think basically as a council member, we are going through a lot of processes of changing, where we are trying to work with all the individual departments in government to ask them to know where is the direction of the SME Association towards industrialization or towards innovation. So digital platform is one of it that we are emphasizing more, because we are also sitting in MCMC and Huawei, who's doing a roadmap for 2030, where we are sitting in between to study how the digitalization process takes place. So if you look at the presentation here, it's more are the key points that we are embracing on digital transformation. First and foremost, we are looking at the adoption technology. This is very important because we want the SME sectors to adopt this transformation. Automation is part of it, and digital empowered workforce. If you look at the workforce at this point of time, they are a bit reluctant, a lot of them who wants to change to a different mindset. But they have got no choice. They have to jump this bandwagon. Like what earlier, I think the earlier speaker, like Raja from MDEC spoke, and Sunny also was talking. If there is no much of involvement on them, then they are not going to head anyway. And if you look at the other things are the government support and incentives, we do engage with many ministries, and we look at grants and fundings moving towards. And like what earlier Mr. Sunny said, that it's not very clear, but the initiatives are taking place. And of course, the last engagement we does with HRD Corp, we know that moving towards digitalization, there are a lot of initiative on funds to be given for trainings. And effective social media marketing, like what earlier most of them were talking, it's not only TikTok, but it's more into engaging with them regularly. And like Facebook, Instagram and all that, it is relevant, but the content, we need to train them how to make the content be very feasible. And analysis after doing all this kind of engagement, how are they getting the feedback? And building the communities. This is the most important thing where you need to engage with the communities. And if you look at a bigger version of it, earlier most of them are very much concerned is securing intellectual property on your individual SME sectors that you're moving towards. So you need to make sure that when you want to go for financing, you need to ask them, how do this financing work through these innovative things that you are looking at? Because if not me, it is not going to go in. Because if you look at most of the time now, currently, all of them are going into digital financing. So from there, there's many players are already in the market where they're engaging with us. For example, like Booz, there's many players there. And banks are also going into this. They have already 5 digital platforms for finance. So this is moving towards. And of course, you need to do a collaboration. This collaboration is very much advanced now because you need to look into a global. So you can't only do it for sectors of SME Malaysia only. So you need to have a good collaboration. This is basically for market expansion and sustainability. So I personally feel like there's many people who have to look at it out of scope where the digital industry expansion, it's also internationally. And of course, the ESG have been non-stop been practiced to all of them. So you have to have some kind of ESG contribution where eco-friendly practice and renewable energy is coming in. And market, you need to have local market and also overseas market. And from whatever that I've been talking to you all, we do understand that there's many associations in the market. So like for us, we have been engaged about 16 to 20,000 members. It varies because associates members and live members. But that is not good enough. Why? Because like what I'm telling now, when we want to initiate something through association, we need numbers. So we also want to have more numbers for us to move around and get things done properly, so that we are able to look into small and medium enterprise in Malaysia to embarrass and also to transformation innovative. This is something that digital tools only can do it. So we want to do a lot of automating processes. And of course, you're fostering culture innovation. SME can unlock new opportunities, improving efficiency and better serve the customer. So from whatever we are doing from the association part, we do engage with many industry players, and our sectors are varies. We are trying our best to move towards the digital transformation where currently MCMC and My Digital is doing it. So we are here to assist. I hope that there's anything that we can interact, please look forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amba. Okay, the key point that Mr. Amba has pointed out about the engagement with the communities. So I think we have to do lots more work. In fact, when the previous speaker mentioned about only about 160 companies has got the MyInno certificate. So that is about less than 1% of the total 1.1 million of SMEs going for innovation. So we got to do more work actually. Right, okay, so we reserve for that. Okay, our next panels, okay, I would like to invite Datuk Kamarul. So Datuk Kamarul, you're going to share with us something very fundamental today, seeding a culture of innovation. Over you, Datuk Kamarul.
Thank you, Prof, and thank you everyone for having me this afternoon despite me needing to call in remotely. So I'll be talking a little bit more about on innovation and inclusivity and how we can accelerate growth and equity in Malaysian SMEs. It's not allowing me to. Okay. So I want to highlight on the importance of innovation and IP, especially in Malaysia. If we were to look at what's happening in the world today, the leading countries in the world are all that employ significantly on IP-intensive industries, and where they derive significant percentage of their GDP from IP-intensive industries itself, right? So if you look at, for example, of course, the leading number one today is actually US with over 6.6 trillion in terms of IP value. In Malaysia today, we are about 150 million in terms of IP value. So my angle here is that IP is very, very important. In summary here, my call for action here is that we really need to increase our R&D budget. We need to work with innovative innovative startup ecosystem to drive IP development. And number three is really to also look at funding ecosystem as well. Okay.
Dato, we are with you. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
All right, yeah, please continue.
So the importance of innovation is also when we look at earlier we mentioned about equity and inclusion. So the question that comes to my mind as well, is that how inclusive is our current environment in Malaysia? We need to be looking at, if we look at our position today, number one is that we have low value export in spite of being a net exporter. In terms of technology-wise, it's not significant yet in Malaysia. We need to be working on local talents. We also need to improve on our funding ecosystem. Here, when we talk about inclusive culture, we need to be looking at investment, we need to be looking at M&As, we need to also be looking about the role of GLCs in IP creation. Perhaps this is where we need to have nation-building agenda and KPI within the GLCs as well. And the SMEs needs to also focus on IP and increase the competitiveness. So why tech startup? So let me talk about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity beyond resource control, as opposed to CEOs and BA holders, where you normally excel within constraint and deeply focus on optimizing available resource. So in other words, for innovation to happen, it typically happen within tech startup. So agility is the hallmark of tech startup. Jack Welch talked about when the rate of change on the outside is faster than the rate of change on the inside, the end is near. So we need the agility of tech startup to drive this innovation. Okay, so it is also important for us to have the right ecosystem when it comes to running this situation. So I need to be looking at talent, funding, opportunity, and the catalyst behind all of this as well. not moving. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we could.
So this is very unfortunate. I can't hear you. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dato'.
Yeah. Oh. It is frozen light. Anyway, try again. No, it's not moving. So never mind. I'll just continue my sharing without the deck then, without the presentation. Okay. On my last sharing is really to talk about how we can hello.
You are breaking, Dato'. This is technology.
Yeah. Prof, maybe you
Yes.
can continue. Let me reconnect using different connection.
Okay, all right. Okay, so when you are on the line, so just give me a buzz. Yeah. Okay. So Dr. Kamarul has emphasized about the ecosystem, the important elements, or what we call the critical success factors that stems from the funding, the talent, the opportunity, and catalysts. Okay. So these are to Dato, where these are the more four important seeds that has to be embedded in order to push or to nurture the culture of innovation. So we're going to discuss more, but while waiting for Dato, I think I would like to welcome Mr. Yu. So Mr. Yu, you lip syncs, okay, from the SRKK. So it's going to talk about the important weapon, which is the employees, yeah? So empowering employees to cultivate innovation. So that will be the essence of Mr. Yu's sharing today. Please, Mr. Yu.
Okay. Good afternoon. Of anything, of everything. So SRKK is an IT company. I should be talking about digital transformation and the likes, but I choose to share about our experience in empowering employees in cultivating innovations. From our experience, there are two key strategies for cultivating innovation. Number one is to nurture excellence and growth mindset in the employees. As a CEO, I always what do I call this? I always remind myself that I should not be the bottleneck of the organization. So because of that realization that I do not want to be the bottleneck and to be the stumbling block of the rest of the people in the company, I am more willing to dedicate as much as I can. So in order for me to dedicate efficiently and effectively, people needs to be better than me, or hopefully overtake things that I know how to do. So nurturing people in order to become in order to allow them to innovate, to me, is the key strategies. Number two strategy is leveraging on government resources. We have so many government departments, they have so much money, so many people to help us, and I think, I feel many of us are not reaching out to government resources to leverage. And I think we can, and we should. Like just now, Ibrahim Sani, he was talking a lot about, come and use us. Yeah. So these are two main strategies that I thought, I'd like to share. But the key one that I'm going to emphasize on is to nurture excellence and growth mindset. Okay. So first thing first, do you know that most employees do not know business? Well, they work in the business, but they don't know what is business. And they think that profit is dirty. working in a business think that profit is dirty. Or they think that business is very profitable. So the research shows that in general, most people think that for every ringgit of revenue that a company generates, 36 cents is the profit. Does it sound correct? 1 ringgit sales, 36 cents is the profit bottom line. That's too good to be true. Okay, but that's what general people think. That's what our employees think. And so we need to help them to overcome, to understand what business is all about. So most people do not know what is business, and they don't know they don't know running a business is such a difficult thing. They thought running a business is very easy. You know, sell 1 ringgit, 36 cents, come back. Okay. So what do we do? We need to educate all our employees that, you know, business is tough. And so there's a lot of education, there's a lot of work that we need to work on our employees to teach them how the company makes money and how to read things like profit and loss statement, balance sheet, what is cash flow, what is account payable, and what is account receivable. Now, these are the basic thing of what the bosses are doing every day. But it's not translated to the employees. Now, imagine if every employee understands this, how the company makes money, chances are, you know, they will be, you know, the communication gap between the top and the working level will be closed up. Because then people will talk sense. Because then when they demand something, they know that, oh, that's too much. Okay? So educating employees on the business, educating employees on P&L, I think is the key to success in innovating. Because if they know how business works, they probably can innovate together with the bosses together. And it makes things easier. So running a business, as I see it, is like it should be an education, it should be like a school, teaching all the employees what business is all about, teaching employees how to read P&L, how to read balance sheet, and what it means, and where do I fit into which line of P&L or which line of balance sheet. And if everybody understands this, then everybody will know how to work in a concerted effort to bring the innovation up of the company, you know, to bring the business to a more profitable status. So it is easy. So if I'm the only one in the company who knows business, if I'm down, the company is down. But if everybody in the company knows what business is all about, then, you know, it is difficult to take down 10 or 20 or 30 people of a company. So I think that's the best way to defend, you know, a business. And if everybody understands the business, you know, how the profit come about, then when we pay bonus and the bonus linked to the business output, then then people will know that they deserve it because they have achieved a certain milestone or certain profitability. Rather than, oh, today I get a month or I get 2 months. I don't know why I get 2 months. Do you know that most people don't know why they get 2 months or 3 months? They just thought that, oh, it's fall down from the sky. So education is the key to even paying bonus. Next. Oops. Oh, okay. So to continue, so from our experience, we encourage our staff to be educated on the ongoing progressive basis. I'm one of the big beneficiaries of MIM. 20 over years ago, when I first started this business, I go to MIM like, I don't know, maybe every quarter I will sit there for 3 days. So I'm one of the beneficiaries of being trained in all different phases of education, and I'm a big believer of training. And we do, in my company, we do provide CPD leave, and we encourage people to go for certification and learning. Within our own company, we even have set aside a day for learning. We call it Learning Fest. So we teach people what are the. So we demonstrate to people, what works and what's not work in the company, and we give our people the technology update. So we are technology companies. Of course, we need to educate everybody in the company what technologies are, because teaching people what business we do. Okay, so and so we encourage our people to attend conference like this and to get to know the unknown. Many times we don't know what we don't know until you come to a conference like this. Then you realize that, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that. Then you can go figure out. And we also hire coaches to help us to grow and push limit. Otherwise, we are always working in the dark. And we encourage books reading. So we get people, we say, okay, this year we have a yearbook. So we identify a book, and everybody in the company will read this book, let's say, like Jim's calling Good to Great. So we actually use a book to run our business. So we take that book like our SOP, and we copy everything that the book says, whether it's the matrices, whether it's the rhythm of meetings, the way to do reporting. So we just use a book to, because a lot of time SME, we have very little resources to hire expensive coaches and hire expensive consultants. So, but reading books is not that difficult. And I feel that if you think that it's difficult, what you can do is hire a intern student, a very smart, very high CGPA, maybe 3.8, 3.9, very smart student, ask him to read and then reflect back to you. Then you can make better decisions. And we did that. And it is quite a useful thing. So using the intern is a very good tool to propel forward in innovation process. And I also want to encourage that we want to embrace ISO standard, but do not just do it for the sake of the paper. Use it as a tool to continuous improve, and use it as a tools to ensuring that systematic improvement bit by bit, one at a time. So ISO certification to me is a key to and innovate. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Yu Lip Sings. Okay, I think the moral of the story from Mr. Yu's sharing is about the education and the journey of educating the peoples, and to be able to understand the business literacy, financial literacy, so that everybody in the entrepreneur or in the enterprises can embrace the journey, the business journey of the organization. Thank you very much, Mr. Yu. So next over to you, Miss Amy. All right. So Miss Amy is going to share with us about the key enablers to SME industry in Malaysia. Over you, Miss Amy.
Okay. 4:30 mengantuk. Yeah. Okay. Let me reintroduce myself. I am a VC that hate VC. There you go. Okay, look, Margaret Thatcher said, right, that if you want the work to be done, you ask women to do it. So I have so many women here talking about inclusion. You deserve a big round of applause for yourself for being here. Why did I quote that? Since the moment I stepped into this room, all the speakers are women. Tak suka. Nasib baik idea perempuan. So what I did, even before the presentation, I summarized everything, whatever they said. So that's the slide. Okay, they talk about funding lah, regulatory reform lah, tak apa. I divided into 3 pillars on why all the problem exists. You can take a snapshot, but it's really, everybody knows the problem, but it's just that I put it in the pillar. Why I can say proudly, dear SME, I feel you. I feel you completely because I, 18 years ago, tak tahu startup, tak tahu funding, tak tahu VC, I buat business dengan my sister, so she quit her job. I have to work because siapa nak bayar gaji if you don't, you know, I mean, you know that bootstrap, tak ada duit, you know, we go through it, first 3 years, first 5 years, painful, you name it. Surat saman, keliling office pun boleh, you know, like stuff like that. We don't even know what VC is all about. And please, you know, don't simply talk about VC, the cost of fund is very expensive. And we take your shares, okay? It's real, huh? So be very careful at which stage of the business you are. I mean, I was a little bit lucky. I'm very lucky actually. Back then, I don't even know what angel investor, but I had my parents. Jadilah, tak payah bayar balik, no interest. But be very careful, we have a lot of grant, take the grant. Please, I'm begging you, there's a lot of fund out there, tolong. Because masa tu I tak tahu. It took us, if you ask me what business did we do back then, I'm working, I have to work. I have to support my sister, right? In case we don't have enough cash flow, which all the time we don't have enough cash flow the first 5 years. You need to climb banks 4 years. 4 years that I climbed up and down PUNB to get them to support me. Entrepreneurs, 4 years, even 1 hour is money. But that's what we have to go through. VC, 60 times, they reject you, that's normal. 60 kali kena reject. Normal, yeah? You can ask Kamarul, when I was in MathCap, we funded Kamarul, asked Kamarul how many times he got rejected. But that's the price that you have to pay for being superhuman, right? Entrepreneurs, superhuman. I feel you completely. So, sebab I passionate sangat dekat SME, this is actually from my PhD. I'm waiting for my Viva. In the next coming 3 months, I've submitted. So I'm actually facing PhD withdrawal syndrome. So I nak share juga, okay? So when I did the PhD, we tested 400 SMEs, interviews, you know, as for me, well, I think maybe, you know, there's so many first time. This is the first time that I'm sharing the result of the finding of how do we speed fast the SME digital adoption. And I did a clear comparative study with the UK government. During COVID, I just came back about maybe 19 months ago. I accepted this job. I came back to Malaysia. As cliche as it sounds, I love this country very much. Huge potential. And everybody say that, like, kenapa you balik, gaji banyak kat sana and stuff like that. But Malaysia lah, Malaysia. Huh? So, yeah, Malaysia di hatiku lah macam tu. I work for the UK government. That time, Rishi Sunak tak Perdana Menteri dan sekarang pun dah tak Perdana Menteri. Okay? That time he was Exchequer Chancellor. So I was part of the program, and I can tell you, we were the co-author, Malaysians, 4 of us, the co-author for the Help to Grow program. So all these things will be addressed if we collaborate. Okay? So this is the next slide that I'm going to show with you why I did the PhD. Not because that, you know, I have this PhD dapat gaji banyak, tak. Datuk Syed, not sure. You know, if you call me a doctor, I'm still going to be poor, you know, the same thing. So I'm going to, okay. So, when we were developing the program for the UK government, Rishi Sunak, for whoever it is, right, deployed 3 billion ringgit during COVID, right in the middle of COVID. So we came up with 12 clear modules. Hint, you know, I'm happy to step in and share the module, but we will localize it, okay? We interviewed mentors. We worked with the central bank. We worked with 7 ministries across the board for one program. And we work with the universities, 40 universities in the UK. So that's why I'm actually part of the program, because I'm a student and still am a student. So did the program work? We deployed to 30,000 SMEs. 12 programs, each of them has a specialized mentor, and their mentor, I swear to God, during the interview, I have to interview the mentor, and I have this imposter syndrome because they're successful startups, they publish books and stuff like that, right? So if, let's say my business, my weakness is, for example, I don't know how to count, right? So we will train them and they have the right to choose all the mentors. And that comes for only 10% of the cost, which is £70 seorang for the SME. The government pump in money, but in Malaysia, we have so many programs. Agensi sana, agensi sini, kita pun tak tahu kita nak pergi mana ni. But this one, when you talk about collaborative effort, you see how many banks will come in and support. Okay, so first slide, I highlighted all the problems. I'm telling you, it's 126,000 words, 3 years of sleeping with my laptop, 4 o'clock in the morning every day to actually come out with this slide. I'm not sure, I'm still waiting for my supervisor to come back to me, but I believe, during duduk kat UK kan, diorang tak faham kita punya culture. So, what, from the finding, so the gentleman just now, they keep on highlighting all those things, gentlemen, I hear you, but the most importantly is the collaboration. I'm actually appealing from the policymaker, the government, the private sectors to come together. How do we actually going to introduce this? How are we going to solve this problem? Look, I'm not going to repeat the numbers of SMEs, that if there's no SME, there's no Malaysia. Just like if there's no Selangor, there's no Malaysia. Okay, MBI, right? Hey, we contribute what, 25.6% to Malaysia, and we superseded recently 400 billion, 401. Okay lah, yo team Selangor, siapa team Selangor? Yeah, this is why I did my PhD. I was supposed to finish it like 3 months ago, but traveling from KL to Selangor, you kind of need a different passport, so jauh. So it gave me a lot of time in the car to think. So if you're going to do your PhD student, I tak nak shock sendiri. So what, Amy? So what? Before I left MAFCAP, have Mel here from MAFCAP, I and the team spearheaded the policy paper for the country. I guess Puan there, she's a supporter, I love her, okay? Malaysia Venture Capital Roadmap. So that's the impact that I want to do for me personally and also for the community. So, okay lah. We put all the interventions, asking for funding and stuff. I give you a little bit about funding. Betul ke tak ada duit kat Malaysia? Betul, tak ada. Okay? So I'm going to, as cliche as it may sound, I'm going to compare the numbers of VC funding Singapore dengan Malaysia. It's not even, I shouldn't be comparing, tapi knowledge lah. Singapore, the funding in 2022 for VC is $9.2 billion. Okay? Malaysia, 758 million US dollar. Okay? Out of this 758 million, 81%. No, sorry, mathematics salah. 92% went to only 3 companies. Okay? Touch and Go, OSK, and I think Boost. Yang tinggal 8.1% tu, divided by 173 companies. So that is where we are struggling. The ideation, everybody is playing dekat company yang besar-besar. Kita ni macam mana? So today, I don't know, there's so many first announcements that I'm making today, but I really want to work with the community. If you see, or you go to my LinkedIn, you see my profile a little bit different, like, MBI, Advisor of Transformation. So today, the truth is, I'm not. I am actually leading the state VC. Okay, there's a bit money there. I see 400 billion just now. but that's the GDP for the state. And also, I'm looking into retail I mean, they added the portfolio. I didn't sign for that, but I'm happy to do it as long as I would be able to create impact to the community. And I'm also looking into financial services. So VC lah, retail lah, financial services lah. I don't know how I'm going to do it, sis cuba. But I believe, Selangor is where you actually can have a live test, right? I mean, even MBI alone, we are so huge. Even to the point that I dapat message, sis, rumah I tak ada air. I Selangor bawa kita orang. So, tak ada air. So, I kind of like Jabatan Kebajikan Masyarakat di Selangor, right? So, we take care of the water, the Klang River. We take care of the waste because Selangorian produce 10,000 metric ton of sampah every year. No, every day, sorry. Just imagine. So there's so many issues that we want to work with SME to actually help us digitize because we have the market access. So with that, follow me on my LinkedIn ke, Instagram ke, of anything. And I'm also on the board of Wahid Ventures. I know some of you will have the Wahid Invest app, Wahid Ventures. We have identified 2 startups or 2 SME that we will be investing. And Wahid Ventures is actually backed by Aramco, Saudi Arabia, and Aramco is 100 million times bigger than Petronas. So I'm talking about money, I'm very materialistic, okay? So I would like to share a little bit money we have with all of you SME, and not only that, I will be looking for startups in Selangor. I would want to go to SME because you guys matters. Yeah, there you go. Dah jaga dah.
Thank you very much, Miss Amy. So, hearing her talking today, so you can see the vibe, the superpower women in her, and how passionate she is with the SMEs. Thank you very much, Miss Amy. Yeah, okay. Then congratulations to all women, especially the SME women. Okay, I'm not trying to be biased, but at that time I need to push also about the women agenda.
No, you have to be biased because we need the quota. I will fight for that. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I will do it. I will make sure it goes to the policy, which I highlighted on MVCR, a case for change. So it's going to be a case for change for SME. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I have all of you. Let's figure it out.
Thank you, Amy. Right, Secretariat, are we back to Dato' Kamaru? Because he said that he's going to join. So let us give way
I'm back
to
online.
Dato' Kamaru. Yes. Can someone help to amend the slides for him? We can't see this, the TV here. Okay, Dato' Kamaru, just give us a few seconds. Okay, Dato'.
I presume you all can see.
Yes, please proceed.
I'll just jump to the last page straight away.
Sure.
In the interest of time. So the summary here is really about the importance of innovation and IP. We talked about that already earlier, but I wanted to cover more on the equity and inclusion. So I think this is speaking on behalf of the tech ecosystem in Malaysia. I think we really need to be looking at how we can improve on the inclusivity of our ecosystem, basically. Number one is really on investment and M&A. I would really encourage the big players, the GLCs, to actually be spending more money on R&D, on IP development, because the success of a country is really depending on how big we actually invest on IP. From my personal experience, I also have a challenge with 1.2. Sometimes GLC do crowd the space. So instead of crowding the space, I would encourage that why don't we work together? I have some ecosystem players that talk to me and complain to me. I'm like the abang long of the technopreneurs here, where we have situation where GLCs stealing IPs even. We need to be looking at more of a nation building agenda, coexist, because after all, the GLCs have the money, government have the money, but the greed, determination, and the push for innovation happens at the SMEs, at the startup. So we really, really need to be working together there. We have issues with talent competitiveness. I think this is something that we need to address as well. And of course, number three, we need to also work on improving our funding ecosystem. Plenary, thank you for talking about that earlier. Funding ecosystem, we need to improve a lot. There's a lot of conversation about we have money in the ecosystem, but the deployment is really not there yet. And even worse is actually for late stage funding. Late stage funding is almost near impossible to do in Malaysia. Hence the reason why we had the like of Grab that exited Malaysia and all that. So this is something that we really need to be looking at. I think SMEs will play a greater role on IP, greater competitiveness. But my call for action is really this. Let's have an equitable environment for all of this to coexist. Better funding environment. GLC, please increase your R&D budget. Some countries are looking at 8, even 10%. Source the R&D from the outside, innovation ecosystem and startup. Create an M&A plan, perhaps. A lot of these startups and SMEs would love to develop all of this technology, work together with them, invest in them, and M&A them, give them an exit, and you can run this, the solutions onwards. And take, for example, my last point, take, for example, Samsung in Korea. They have a lot of IPs, they have the money to develop all these IPs, but they end up actually releasing all these IPs for free. Get the startup to use them and start developing technology. So in the interest of time, I think I'll just end over there this time. Thank you.
Okay,
Over to you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Dato. I hope you won't leave the online because we have a sessions of question and answer.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, in view of time, I'm going to open the questions from the floor and also or any online participants are posted here, not yet, okay? So let's welcome, yes, the lady behind it. Is it possible you could tell your name and introduce yourself, where you're from? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Sharifa, Innovation and Nuclear Advocate. I'd like to make 2 recommendations. One, Professor Moderator, you highlighted to us that innovation input was well done in Malaysia, but not the innovation output. So my recommendation would be, and I've written in the newspapers for the government, to change our innovation model from the linear into an innovation ecosystem. Because in the US, they have already changed how the model should be so that our investments will be more realistic and impactful. Because if you look at innovation input and output, you divide it, it will be innovation efficiency. So right now, most of the government, they're putting too much focus on input, increasing R&D, increasing scientists. But we want the output to be good. What is important we are lacking is not looking at the innovation process. Because if you don't improve the process, the output will not be impactful. So that's one. Secondly, Dato' Kamarul had mentioned about funding. Yeah? So I'd like to recommend that because, some of the panelists mentioned many of the SMEs do not know where to look for funds, but there's so many funds everywhere. Maybe we could recommend the SME Association, because we did that for MDC when I was with the Multimedia Development Corporation. Because of my experience with business angel financing, venture capital, as well as debt venture, what we did was we had a website. What is important is to look at the entire business development value chain. So from startup, from mid-stage, to later stage. So you need to highlight or list who are these funders so that you put it in one specific comprehensive website to take in everyone who's in Malaysia so that the companies can then access. Last one, Amy, you mentioned about VC, right? Of course, venture capital is important. When I was in MDC, there was one MSc status company owner running about and looking quite harassed. I asked him, how can I help you? I'm looking for funding. Then I showed him, we have an MSc venture capital company. No, I don't want VC because I don't want anyone to take my ownership. I'm looking for business, I think bank loans and all that. So we have to understand that VCs are not the only funding that Malaysia must spotlight on, because currently we see KL20, everything VC. But now I'd like to recommend we look at the whole value chain, crowdfunding, business angel, as well as the late stage, getting banks to provide the loans for tech companies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I
Yeah,
take
sure.
that?
You want to
Kiasu tak?
respond
Saya
to that?
perempuan je, we control the floor, ladies.
Yes, Amy, please
Okay,
first respond.
SME, saya orang Selangor, saya nak suggest visit our website Hijrah. Hijrah actually under the purview of Menteri Besar Incorporated. It's actually under my purview. I'm actually heading the financial services. Hijrah has been providing SME in Selangor. Tak apalah, tukar je lah register office pergi Selangor ya. We have deployed 830 million and there's Hijrah Nadi, especially for women. I am encouraging all of you to go and look into our website and start applying. Kita bukan macam bank because we have a development punya perspective. So interest dia kurang sikit, we actually fund up to 200,000. So okay lah, SME, MSME below than 5 staff. I mean, I used that Hijrah before I am sitting on the ni dulu masa tak ada duit masa buat business, so they're quite flexible. You still have to pay, bukan free, bukan grant, but the interest is a bit lower and the process of applying is slightly less compared to banks. So I encourage you to look at that. And then we have also a grant program called Iltizam Selangor. Look at that too. Banyak nak bagi, carilah. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the information. Yes, Mr. Kavi, you want
Puan,
to add on? Yeah.
Prof, thanks. Puan, thank you for your question, and I think we look forward for this collaboration. In fact, if you look at our website, we do collaborate with many institutes, and today I think, listening to from MBI, I think we will also explore for another collaboration with them.
Boleh?
So if you look at it, fair enough, I think this is the way moving forward, because we are also working with Huawei International to do a collaboration on how to move towards digitalization. And if you look at our digitalization process that we are doing, we are putting up a capstone mileage, talking to the PMX department about who is going to head this project. Sometimes, like earlier when we were talking, so many issues related to digital. 2030 is our milestone, and the roadmap that we have already moved on, we are missing a lot of sectors there, especially the financial sectors. So we, in fact, are working with many institutes or digital institute moving forward to do a collaboration with us. At the same point of time, we also want to get more members to be in the platform so that they can benefit from that. It is not a payment platform, it's just an associate membership so that we can show the numbers to the government how to move forward on this. That's the biggest issue that we have. Of course, micro is different, but at least SME Association wants to have more SME sectors to come in. Because like earlier when Sasani was talking, Brahmsani, Pranaraju is looking at many issues. Development on training, yes, fair enough. There's so many sectors are doing training. At the same point of time, efficiency and cost-wise, for them to move forward, a digital platform is one of it. And for this transformation, many of them who don't want to move to the transformation is because of finance. They have a lot of obstacle on it. But if they want to look at global or internationally, this is the wagon they have to jump in. So we look forward for a collaboration with you, Puan.
Okay.
Sekejap je. I ada list lagi. Go to www.mathcat.com. Before we left, we have listed down, I personally sat down with the team, listed down the national funding. Puan Sharifah, we have, but maybe not, it's non-exhaustive. You can go to the website and you look, there's a national funding, that's why, or grant, MARA, all the national funding agencies. And on the next microsite, we also have all the VCs that you can approach at which series. And if you talk about ESG, we have the lady up there who actually we provided the tools on the website for SME to test kita ni cukup ESG ke tak. You can get that from MAFCAT website as well. I mean, I love MAFCAT, but I believe some information is very important for us to share with you. funding dekat situ, nak test ESG, we call it ESG toolkits dekat situ. So, okay, teruskan.
Thank you. I think we have time yet. Can we have more questions? Right. Yes.
Anwar from Malaysian Financial Planning Council. So just since we have Selangor, I can say main contributor to the economy of Malaysia. So if you say that, I believe there are many people in Selangor that interested to do business, but sometimes they fail along the way. Sometimes they are good in producing their products and services, but they may not be competent enough in running the business per se. And how do you address the issue? Thank you.
And would you like first or? Okay, Emmy.
Okay, I concluded the second slide just now is Malaysia SME digital roadmap. I mean, I did it based on my own finding on my PhD, 3 years of study, right? So from the research, we've identified, so it has to be a collaborative effort. So given the fact that I am representing MBI, we have 10 different industries, 12,000 staff. Well, we practically own Selangor, you know, Sabda and stuff like that. So I guess this is where, as a state government, we have to step in. I mean, SME, we hear you. I've just started working for 2 months, so hold your horses. I will try my very best. I'm going to make sure that we push the agenda of digitalization for the SME because they are not only the backbone of the country, but for us, the state. Without them, we can't function. So I need SME, especially from Selangor. I mean, it's easier for me to do because I work for the state government now, not federal government. There's a whole initiative, and Selangor Research Institute is again under MBI. So I have so many subsidiaries. I'm going to go down on ground and really deploy the program, Help to Grow program. I will push the agenda because we have the module, we tested the module, we have filled certain things, and we improvised the module. So I guess if it worked very well, successfully in the UK, we will localize it and make sure that it will be successful in Selangor. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Yu, you would like to add?
Well, you asked about, you don't know how to run a business. So, I mean, at the beginning, business is very easy. Buy at a price, mark up, sell at a higher price, you got some margin. So that is as simple as that. So as it grow a little bit bigger, I think the challenge would be you have more demand that you can supply, then you probably need to add a headcount to help expand your production capacity. Then you add people, then you add second people, and so on and so forth. So as the team grows in size, then the complexity grows. Then you need to worry about EPF, SOXO, and the likes. So I think if we do it progressively and learning it step by step, being in the association like Chamber of Commerce or SME association will certainly helps. So we learn from each other. As we increase in number of people in our organization, we learn from each other. So throughout my experience, we started from 2%, now we are 120 people. I think the journey was always knowing what I don't know, and when I meet someone who may know, then I just ask. And people are generally friendly and willing to share. I think most people are like that. Few people are selfish. So every time when I ask, people are really willing. And then people even tell more than what I ask for. And I think, being willing to learn and really put what we learn into practice is very critical in running a business. Malaysian government is very good. Throughout my journey as an entrepreneur, I attended so many courses that I paid RM0. So many, I even went to India for 2 weeks of course, also don't know who paid. Somebody paid. And one of my staff went to London for a week, also don't know who paid. Somebody paid. So I think our government is good. So if we know what we don't know, and we are humble enough to go learn, there are plenty of resources. Today, I think it's even easier. With YouTube, with Coursera, I think the resource is plentiful. It's a matter of whether we want to take that effort to go learn the subject that we do not understand. As the business grow, really, it is quite complex to run a sizable business. But as it started with really easy, buy at RM1, sell at 120, I make 20 cents. And then I multiply by 100 of it, then I make 20 ringgit.
Right.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yu. I just would like to bring the attention back to the inclusion, diversity, and equity. So if we were to if we were to compare Malaysia and don't go far, Singapore or India for that matter. So we see the evidence when I look at the Harvard Business Review report, okay, the DEI emphasizes in the US and UK is pretty high, and the impact of this DEI is more than 90% said revenue is increasing, and McKinsey also agreed that 36% of the company have experienced increase in profit, and Deloitte, a little bit different, he talks about the engagement with the millennials. So on that note, I would like to get the speaker's opinion about how do we are we inclusive enough in the SMEs in Malaysia?
I'm going to answer that,
Okay,
even
please.
without you finishing. Okay, bro. So I call them bro. Listen. Do you know World Economic Forum report? Okay, ranked Malaysia. Remember, 2024 year, abang at 102 out of 146 countries. Tak payah pergi funding, tak payah pergi SME, itu dulu. 102, we are 224. Man, I know I go up to a lot of talk. They ask, you see the gentlemen, they will talk, oh, we can do this, we do that. Sometimes I actually wonder, right? Is it just a lip service? Right? If it's so betul what they're doing, why are we still ranked at 102? Okay lah, better daripada 103. Naik sikit. 2021, 2022 dapat 2022. Look, we might not see it from our perspective because we are here today, but we are not the majority here. I mean, women in KL or women in, and I can personally testify the higher you go, the more the attack you'll get. Like women like me, especially, right? Overpowering lah, apalah, I tak kisah. Okay? So you know why? Because Malaysia is currently in what we call sandwich generation era. Okay? Sekarang ni I sandwich lah. Lagi mungkin 2 tahun I dah super age society. Okay? So in Malaysia, 62% of women responded. Kenapa you tak keluar? Because we have kids I need to take care of, and I have parents that I need to take care of. Sandwich generation. So if I go out, my husband will earn RM1, 100 ringgit, 66% to men, 30%. So I will earn 30 ringgit lesser for each 100 ringgit. So might as well the men go out. So women entrepreneurs, the founder, this is where I need your help to actually keep hiring the woman out there, simplify it, and to the gentlemen, this is where you step in and give you know, all this work from home policy, you know, be a bit more flexible. I mean, I'm not a mother, I don't know how hard it is, but I don't think I will survive, right? So what I'm saying, right, and to all the women, every night, you tidur kat sebelah husband you suruh, esok you pergi promote this girl, okay, you promote this girl, okay, promote, bukan suruh kahwin, promote. Okay, so this is where all of us play a very, very important part. And you know, please don't tell me about DEI when we are ranked at 102. Something has to be done. The intervention has to be strong. Even when I rebutt the budget on air live, I was so scared that I might be losing my job. So I said the budget itself is not inclusive. If you want a quota, we'll fight for the quota because we need that. We shouldn't be at 102. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So indirectly, Amy was saying that woman is still not being accepted. Right?
No, and the best part, especially on the inclusion matters, 85% of household decisions made by the woman.
Yeah, at the
We
household.
make the decision what we cannot decide. Hello, cannot lah like that, huh? Okay, so if the decision made by the woman, so you know we are perfectionists, overanalyze everything, so you have to say yes.
Okay,
Okay?
so that's talking about the participations of women in the entrepreneurship. Okay, I know Kevin wanted to say something, so I want you to go back to are we inclusive enough or not at the SMEs currently? And how do we go about?
It's quite sad, actually, whatever point I've been telling, it is correct, actually. We face this issue generally because, as you know, the most entrepreneurs who are engaged with us are always the men's. So they come and engage with us because there's so much of entertainments to be done. We have to be very open about it, but at the same point of time, I think the other sector is there's a lot of training needed. They need to be trained. That is one thing that a lot of contributors in the SME sectors with HRD Corp is not utilizing the fund. This is something that we are not promoting them, but it's our fund. So we at SME, when we engage with them, they tell that they already launched the digital transformation fund. But I don't know how many of them who have benefited. So if you ask generally, this is our own fund. And because this fund is not utilized there, they came back to SME and said that we don't have this training, we don't. No, actually you have to go back there and listen to what are the latest training going on or in the ecosystem. That's where you are managed to engage with them and get the fund to move on. So basically, we, under the innovation, we look at it, there must be a lot of engagement taking place in the market. So I hope that the SME sectors do a lot of engagement with associations who are already there. There's many associations. I think I can't even name it other than SME association. There's many. It is also race-based association, sorry to say, there's many. But inclusion, like what innovative we are looking at, everything going into digital. So we need to have a clear agenda on that. So with that, I think we can tap the market bigger.
Okay, thank you very much. So digital is the answer of today to widespread our movement on the SMEs. Okay, can I invite more questions from the floor? Yes, Mr.
Yes, good afternoon to the distinguished panel. My name is Joseph. The question which I wish to pose is, what is the default level of the venture capital funders or those who are seeking that venture capital funding? Because I suppose an entity that can eligible for a bank facility will not go for a VC funding. So I suppose the default rate at VC funding could be very much higher. And I just want to know what's the survival level of the VCs in Malaysia. Thank you.
I think this correctly your
Okay, globally, 90% of startups fail. 90%. So we, the investor, it's a gamble, right? kita gamble ni 90%. Okay? However, once you get one unicorn, out of 100 yang kita invest, 90% will fail, and we know that. So this is why, the government play a very important role, but furthermore, the private sectors. In South Korea, when they first started the VC industry 10 years ago, compared to us, MAFCAP has been in the industry for 23 years, okay? The government spent about 60-40, the government funding 60%. But for the past 5 years, the table has turned. Siapa suka tengok cerita Korea? Sarang so the Shabol has taken the place from the government. They came together, 43 of them, Hyundai, Samsung lah, so they are investing in startup. So I wish, that's my KPI, okay, to be like Samsung Ventures. So Samsung ni diorang besar sangat kan. So when they invest in startup, the startup is addressing their internal problem. And I wish to work closer with SME, to work closer with startups, because kita ada je banyak masalah. We have so many subsidiaries, right? Main subsidiaries 24, but overall we have 100 over subsidiaries. Every day ada issues. So we are pushing forward the agenda of transformation, digitalization. So I guess that's why they hired me. I hope to be carrying the responsibility and amanah successfully, inshallah. And I hope to be working closely with all of you to see what we can do to address this. So, but again, I hear you, 90% of startups fail. So that's on my shoulder to make sure that we invest in successful startups. And I believe all of you is that 10%.
Okay, thank you very much for the sharing. Any more burning questions? Okay, well, yeah, can we have, Secretary, can I have one more question from the gentleman behind there? I think one more there, right? Okay, yes, please.
Good afternoon, panelists. My name is Sugumaren. I'm representing my association, which is named as Association of Certified Integrity Officers, which works under MACC. My question is forwarded to Mr. Anbar. Why not you suggest to in your council that HRDF fund is now from employers. The fund is actually 1% or 2% they get from the total amount of salary that has been already funded inside there. And it is mainly for training only. The concept is there, but we can revise the concept in such a way that companies that are creativity and innovation interests still can allocate that amount of money for SMEs who contributes for this purpose, so that that fund can be used mainly for innovation and creativity. I think this will work. At the end of the day, whatever said and done, money comes first. If there is no funds available, no point talking. We can have materials, we can have manpower, we can have good management also, and also we can have whatever materials, machines we can have. This is called 5 M's or 6 M's, which I have come across. But when it comes to money, that M is not there means we cannot get from people, then we cannot move. So I believe that there is need revision on the HRDF fund, allocate for innovation and creativity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, please respond.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this is a very good idea. We will take forward this issue. I'll table it in our council, we will move forward to approach them and put the concern of SME Association for the special fund on digital. I think this is considered compulsory at the direction of the government now. We have to move towards this. We'll make a point to put this suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just a very short one. You would like to...
A short one. I tend to have some insomnia. Just forgot. Let me recall.
Take your time, sir. No problem. Take your time.
I'll take my time and then I'll come back. No, I have already got into my mind.
Okay, yes, please.
Already got. The intellectual property department, I do not know which is under which ministry, I do not know. I believe it must be a ministry under working. Yeah. These intellectual property certifiers, and then the property, I mean the innovation and the creativity belong to someone or some groups of people. So it has got to be registered before they sell to another guy without the intellectual property. So as what we think that for SMEs, we need them to be registered. If they have all the ideas, of course, group of people coming up with ideas, like making a button, it's also got to be registered as intellectual property belong to that company. So that is what we call innovation and supported by the government, so that nobody goes and copy for 5 years, lock it. So that kind of procedures all must be incorporated. Since you are there, I believe you can do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm there. We'll definitely refer this. I think there's a lot of procedure on that. But anyway, IPs are actually governed by the government bodies also through some individual legal departments and all that. They do register patent, trademark and all that. So IP and digital, I'm not quite sure because we have not moved it into there very highly. But that is needed now. Compulsory, we'll put a message towards HRD to look into it. Definitely we'll move forward on that. Thank you.
Yeah, it is under MIPO, and we already have one clause on the protecting the digitalizations or anything related to techno services or apps, things like that, actually. Right, anyone last question from the floor? Or, no, okay. Is Dato' Kamarul still online, Secretariat? Is already stepped, okay. Maybe before we wrap up, okay, I would like to, any of the panels would like to comment this, okay. We talk about innopreneurship. So this is a new buzzword. We're talking about innovation-based entrepreneurship, yeah? Okay, and I know Dato' Kamarul, through his company, okay, has opened up to lots of youngsters or the millennials, okay, to come forward, to bring their ideas and to be trained or conduct some apprenticeships, okay. My questions to the panels here, okay, what would be your advice to nurture the innopreneurship mindset among the millennials? Because these are the group of people, especially when we look at the statistic of the SMEs today, most of the SMEs are actually driven by the young people. So they have a different mindset and they are towards technology-based or whatever digitalizations and things. But the issue is, how do we correct or we grow the right mindset to be an innopreneur? Anyone on the panels?
I think first and foremost, if you look at the new colleges that have came up, like APU, if you look at APU, they are actually creating a lot of young entrepreneurs, and they all are into digital. So these are the guys, like what Mr. Yu said, you must get some good CGPA guys to come into our place and practice and show us the direction. So I think it is already now moving, and they are very fast. And if you look at certain things that are happening in the SME sectors, we are hiring all the young generation with a lot of innovative inclusions they are doing. So it's a bit surprised that change have to take place. One of the sad things that happening in the government where we have to emphasize is where if you look at Singapore lately, they introduce a kind of allowances for elderly people, I mean above 50. For them to do changes, they have to learn innovative and digital learning. So we need to put this into our roadmap because we are moving towards 2030 on digital. We need that to be on. If not, means we will get a lot of redundancy in our operation. So I look at it, there's a lot of youngsters are coming in. Like Prof is looking forward, so many changes that we can utilize a lot of them, and we can also make them to teach and start learning. This is skill development. So we are able to do it.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, right. Just to echo to what you mentioned, and also Mr. Yu mentions about the talent, the competency talent. This is one of the driving force towards innovation. But sadly to say, when we talk about SMEs, I'm going to touch going down to the grassroots. I'm not talking about the middle enterprises because they are okay. But looking at the MS, the micro and the smalls, yes, I want to innovate. Hey, but I've got these barriers, okay, these challenges, how to secure the fund and the people, the right quality people, and so forth, okay. So that creates a lot of social distress, lots of pressure to them, yeah, okay, to acquire, though there are lots of fundings available or schemes available, but so how do we address, because I would coin it as like education disparities, and also economic disparities, okay, between the small company, the micro enterprises, the small enterprises, and the large one. So how would you reckon for us to really help these micro and small enterprises?
Okay, micro SME. Just now people mentioned about 1.17 million. Yeah. 700 over is actually micro SME. Yeah. 78% kita kat Malaysia ni micro SME. Okay, so I know the like as we move forward, right, yang terror semua laju, so this is where I guess the new word that I would like to share with you, I mean some of you might be familiar, just transition, perolehan keadilan. So kita laju sangat, adakah kita dekat MSME? Okay, so this is a topic that I represented Malaysia to talk about in APEC last year. Betul. I moderated one session. So for example, case in point, Selangor again, kita bukan jaga air, kita kutip sampah juga tadi. So what we did, we helped those pickers, collectors, okay. We introduced this program that kita bagi dia buat business sendiri. So they developed their own business, about 1,500 SMEs. They started as a picker. So we provided the training and stuff like that. That's one untuk kutip sampah atas darat. And since we also have Sungai Klang, people daripada Klang, KL, dia buang sampah sampai sungai kita, Selangor, jangan buang sampah ya. So we thank CoPlay and Affin Bank for sponsoring the Insurrector. Macam nak sebut tu lah, apa benda tu, kapal tu. So but still along the way, there's a marginalized community yang kalau sungai kita tak bersih, the kids are not healthy, the growth are stunted. So we are actually helping them and train the nelayan especially to teach. It has to be, you know, layers and layers and layers. So as a state government, as much as MBI is an investment company, we also have a huge responsibility for the rakyat. So we train the nelayan and they will train the lower nelayan and the nelayan to make sure that what do we do and clean the river so that there'll be more money when they go down the river. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
thank you very much. Okay, before I end, I would like to invite each of the speakers just to tell us what are the 2 resilient points in order to cultivating diversity, equity, and inclusive to push our SMEs further. 2 points. What are the 2 deliverables, Mr. Kevin?
Okay, first thing I think mentorship. This is something that we must start doing it because we are looking at innovation. So mentorship is something that we are unable to move out. The other thing, because we are in the early bird, we are actually looking at 2030 as our roadmap to digital transformation. So I think the skill and development should come hands on with this. This is my point.
Mentorship and skills. Mr. Yu?
So if you are fear of diversify your talent, I would suggest that you just take one baby step, just go hire someone that is different. And then if that's successful, then you try the next one. We started like that, you know, like many Chinese company, you don't normally have other than Chinese staff. When we first started to hire our first Malay, you know, the whole thing changed. Now we have like almost 50% of Malay in our company, almost 50 ladies. So when we first started hiring our first lady engineers who needs to claw under the table to connect cables, and you know, I asked her, do you really want to do that? She said yes. And I asked at least 3 times. She said yes. Okay, then I try you. So just take a baby step and try once, and if it work out, then continue to do that.
So embrace diversity. So that's it. Ami, your last 2 points from you.
I nak bagi homework. Call to action SMEs.
Call to action.
1, visibility. Please, you know, Malaysian SME. I said this over and over again when I was in the UK. Your LinkedIn. You know, your LinkedIn will transcend you to a global market. Okay? Mesti nak buat LinkedIn tu. Okay, tips lagi. Go to my LinkedIn. I paid £200 to position myself, hopefully globally. Tak naklah jadi jaga kampung kan. So I bayar. I paid £200, that's 1,200 ringgit, just to position the business, just to actually position, you know, describe who you are in 5 words, less than 5 words. Are you marathoner? Are you, I mean, whatever that you are championing, you only talk about that 5 things, not more than 5. So, it matters. Go and add friends from global, go and add friends that have a similar background. This is where you introduce your brand, your business at 0 cost. Okay? Visibility, visibility, visibility. Visibility for you and visibility for business. So that's your homework today, the moment you step out from the room, and add me, and we be friends, and you know, harass me, send me DM. Because why I say it worked, there's a lady, 26 years old, Mel knows her, she came to MAFCAP, and she was like, Miss Amy, I nak buat business, nak buat benda makan. And in less than, well, 15 months, so she harassed me every day on my LinkedIn until I said yes to meet her. And she even came to the office on Friday, because that day we do an open work policy. So last 2 weeks. So Miss Amy, I'm traveling from Melaka to KL. Can I host you for breakfast? So sebab dia harass kan, I macam, okay lah, I jumpa you for the 4th time in 15 months. So she opened her bank statement. Okay. When she came to me, she only had 15,000 ringgit. So she came to show me her first 1 million. I cried. I swear to God, I cried.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
visibility and connectivity actually
Correct.
was implied there.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Miss Datuk Kamarul is online. Okay, so thank you once again. So that will wrap up our discussions today. It was a very interesting, and I hope everybody enjoys today. I think we have break, and there are more to come to it. Okay, talking about talents, talking about the barriers, talking about the ecosystem to push the SMEs towards innovation globally and also nationally. So on that note, on behalf of the MIM, so please join me, give a big applause to all the panels here, and also to the audience for your interactive participations. Thank you very much. And wabillahi taufiq, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. So I over you to the Secretariat.